A prison usually brings to mind high walls, sprawling complexes, and endless rows of barbed wire. But what if I told you that there's a jail built like a skyscraper in Arizona? Towers Jail, located in Maricopa County, is precisely what it sounds like: a massive detention facility stacked into a vertical tower. Built in 1982, this unusual structure was designated as a quick fix for overcrowded prisons, allowing authorities to house hundreds of inmates on multiple levels instead of spreading them out over a larger area. But stacking cells on top of each other came with unexpected challenges. Tight corridors, minimal outdoor space, and limited inmate movement created an atmosphere unlike any other jail in Arizona. And because of that, as the years went on, Towers Jail became the subject of lawsuits, failed reforms, and questions about its long-term survival. So how did a vertical jail become a permanent fixture in Arizona's correctional system? What are the hidden flaws in its design? And with the state shifting away from mass incarceration, is Towers Jail on borrowed time? Stay tuned to find out, as today we uncover the story of Arizona's Towers Jail. I'm your host, Ryan Sokash, and you're watching It's History. The story of Towers Jail shows us how infrastructure and organization can shape a place's fate. This is a somewhat universal fact that also applies to things like your business, since everything can fall apart without the right tools. And that's where our sponsor Odoo comes in. Let me explain. Essential tools, organization, and having a website today are just as important as having a physical store. But many entrepreneurs give up before they even start because they think building a website is too complicated, expensive, or requires technical skills which they don't have. That's where Odoo Website Builder comes in, a platform that lets you create a professional website in minutes with no coding required and completely free. So, what else makes Odoo stand out? Well, it's easy. Just drag and drop to design your website effortlessly. It's fast. Get your website up and running in just a few clicks with no complicated setups. It's free. You'll get unlimited hosting, customer support, and a free custom domain for a year. The platform is AI-powered, meaning Odoo's integration with ChatGPT helps generate content for you with just a few clicks. So if you ever wanted to build a website for your business or project, now's the perfect time to do it without spending a dime. Try Odoo for free today and give your business the online presence it deserves. Click the link in the description and start now. Big thanks to Odoo for sponsoring this video, but now let's get back to the story of Arizona's Tower Jail. Let's go back to the 1970s, when the US changed its criminal justice system by locking up more people for longer. As crime rates increase, politicians typically seek quick fixes. That's always been the case. They push for harsher sentences, limit parole options, and build more prisons. But the actual explosion of incarceration came in the 1980s when the government launched the infamous War on Drugs. According to most sources, these harsh policies hit Black and Latino communities hardest, causing a spike in arrest, especially in the low-income areas of Phoenix. Although President Richard Nixon first coined the term War on Drugs in 1971, it was Ronald Reagan who took the strategy to an extreme. Under his administration, drug-related offenses, even minor ones, were met with harsh punishments. And this is because mandatory minimum sentencing eliminated judicial discretion, filling prisons at an unprecedented rate. By 1980, the U.S. prisoner population had reached 500,000. But how did this impact Arizona and Maricopa County? Well, for starters, Arizona adopted some of the toughest sentencing policies in the country. In 1978, the state removed parole for serious offenses, which might sound like a good idea, meaning that prisoners had to serve almost their entire sentence before the authorities would release them. However, when you combine this with mandatory minimum sentencing, the state suddenly has to house many people. At the same time, Arizona's prison spending skyrocketed. By 1985, the state was allocating $88 million to its correctional system. Around that time, Phoenix, the state's largest city, saw a spike in drug possession arrests, particularly for minor offenses, and the effect was almost instant. Though we don't know the exact numbers in Arizona, I can zoom out to the bigger picture and tell you that the prison population tripled from 1970 to 1990. This increase happened because of mass incarceration policies and the war on drugs. In Arizona, this led to an explosive growth in the inmate population, and a severe overcrowding crisis followed. So as state prisons filled, Arizona turned to private prisons to absorb that overflow. In Maricopa County, contracts with private prison companies became commonplace. However, they faced criticism for inhumane conditions and profit-driven incarceration. By 1982, the county jails were at a breaking point, forcing officials to find an intermediate solution. So what was the answer? Tower Jail, a 720-bed facility. They built this behemoth to hold pretrial detainees. This helped relieve the pressure on the county's crowded correctional system, though what started as a temporary solution became a permanent fixture in a system that just kept expanding. And so it was. In 1982, construction started on this very unusual jail. This facility aimed to reduce overcrowding in Maricopa County's correctional system. It also sought to improve the handling of medium security and pretrial detainees. Officials in the county opted for a functional, cost-efficient design that could be deployed rapidly. You see, unlike many sprawling, horizontal prison complexes, architects built Towers Jail vertically, allowing for higher capacity on a smaller footprint, while at the same time optimizing security through elevated observation points. The construction of Towers Jail, which spans 90,000 square feet, included 6 separate housing units. Each housing unit divides into 4 pods, with each accommodating up to 30 inmates, totaling 720 detainees. This layout aimed to enhance supervision and improve the administration of pretrial detainees. The builders constructed the facility with reinforced concrete and structural steel. These materials help keep maintenance costs low and prevent escape attempts or even vandalism inside. The tower design also had controlled ventilation systems, which helped manage temperatures in Arizona's extreme climate. For security, though, Towers Jail also incorporated state-of-the-art surveillance technology for the time, including the following: security personnel position CCTV cameras to monitor every pod and limited access area, automated doors and access control systems, reducing the need for direct officer intervention. There were also internal intercoms in each tower, which allowed for communication between areas, meaning officers didn't have to physically move around the space in order to communicate. Hence, Towers Jail aimed to better manage pretrial detainees. However, its design had some unexpected impact on the inmates in their daily lives. The small pods and limited capacity shaped the experience of those in jail. Both the rules of the institution and the tough conditions of the jail influenced this as well. As soon as inmates arrive, they must adjust to a strict daily routine. The rules are there to keep the facility secure and under control. There's constant supervision. Security cameras are in every corner of this tower, which allow for 24/7 monitoring of inmates. There's also restricted movement. Automated doors limit inmates' mobility, preventing unauthorized access to other units. Then we have the strict visitation rules, where visitors cannot have physical contact, and staff closely monitors all visits. Towers Jail has a standard meal plan, however, there are no records about the quality of the meals, so we won't speculate. Now, in terms of healthcare, state-run opioid treatment programs are available, offering methadone therapy and psychological support for inmates struggling with addiction. But it should also be noted that this jail isn't just a holding facility. It's a part of a system that aims to reduce recidivism and prepare inmates for reintegration. Towers Jail, though a temporary detention center, participates in programs to help inmates improve their lives after release. One program is Smart Justice. It aims to reduce jail time for low-risk offenders and offers supports to help prevent reoffending. In addition to Smart Justice, Towers Jail participates in other initiatives that aim to lower recidivism rates and improve inmates' transition back into society. One such initiative is Stepping Up, a national program that seeks to reduce the number of individuals with mental illnesses in jail. Since 2015, Maricopa County has used this strategy. It helps identify people with psychological disorders early so they can receive community-based treatment instead of going to jail. Then, in 2016, Maricopa was one of 50 counties chosen for the Stepping Up Summit, which showed its strong commitment to reform. Towers Jail also takes part in the Medication-Assisted Treatment Program, known as MAT. This program helps inmates who have opioid dependencies and also offers methadone treatment, therapy, and reintegration planning. Measuring the impact of these programs is complex. Programs like Smart Justice and Stepping Up aim to cut reoffending. However, Towers Jail has produced mixed results. Early identification of mental health issues helps divert some inmates to treatment facilities instead of sending them right back to jail. However, the effectiveness of these programs depends on several factors. There's the availability of community resources or an inmate's willingness to participate, and of course, a key factor is also the county's ability to provide post-release monitoring. Regarding the medication-assisted treatment, reports do indicate that inmates who complete this program are less likely to reoffend in drug-related cases. However, budget constraints and logistical challenges have limited the implementation of this treatment, preventing access for all detainees. Another big problem is that Towers Jail wasn't designed for long-term stays, meaning many inmates don't stay long enough to finish rehab programs. A state of affairs that would reduce the effectiveness of any goodwill initiative. So, despite efforts to provide rehabilitation opportunities, Towers Jail remains, above all, a temporary detention center, one where jail conditions often make proper social reintegration quite difficult. Over the years, Towers Jail has faced criticism, complaints, and lawsuits over its poor conditions and aging infrastructure. As the oldest facility in the county, its outdated electrical and mechanical systems make upgrades difficult and costly. Some of its biggest concerns include the following: corroded plumbing and ventilation, which have led to leaks and sanitation issues within cells, brought on structural damage to metal cell frames, and increased overall maintenance costs. But we have to talk about the extreme heat. You see, with Arizona's brutal summers, temperatures inside can reach dangerous levels, prompting complaints from inmates and human rights groups. Beyond infrastructural problems, medical care is another major issue. Well, the jail offers medical-assisted treatment, which we discussed earlier. Budgeting limitations prevent many detainees from receiving it. Inmates with mental health issues frequently report a lack of specialized care, further adding to the jail's long list of challenges. But even beyond infrastructure problems, Towers Jail has also been the scene of violent incidences and lawsuits that have cost the county millions. In 2022, a shocking case unfolded. An inmate at Maricopa County killed his cellmate. He had warned officers about his violent plans, but they didn't intervene. This situation caused a lot of public anger, but it also raised worries about supervision within the facility. The financial consequences of such incidences have been substantial. Since 2010, the county jails have spent more than $21 million on legal issues. This includes settlements and lawsuits tied to inmate violence and poor detention conditions. In fact, people see Towers Jail as one of the least adequate jails in Maricopa County. This is primarily a result of old infrastructure. Recent reports show a strong need for updates. However, county officials struggle to justify investing in a crumbling facility with structural problems. And hence, over the years, many human rights groups have criticized conditions at the jail. They demanded the following: better access to medical care, solutions for extreme temperatures, and a full assessment of its infrastructure. Even so, the jail continues to operate under the same conditions. Despite mounting criticism and calls for modernization, Towers Jail remains open. But with so many controversies surrounding it, we have to wonder, what does the future even hold for this facility? With high maintenance costs and aging infrastructure, the debate over this jail's viability remains open. The Maricopa County Jail Master Plan 2024 to 2039 evaluated Towers Jail and considered options for its future. No financial decisions are set yet. Proposals include partial renovations or replacing the facility altogether with a more modern one. But what other factors might determine the fate of Towers Jail? Arizona has begun to rethink its approach to incarceration. For decades, the go-to solution seemed to be building more jails and imposing harsher sentences, but now policies are slowly shifting. Officials are considering options like electric monitoring instead of pretrial detention to reduce overcrowding. This system lets some low-risk detainees wait for trial with supervision at home instead of staying in a jail, helping reduce the overall strain on the correctional facilities. A significant change is also the reevaluation of mandatory minimum sentencing laws. These laws played a major role in mass incarceration across Arizona for years, though if reformed, the state could limit its price tag on incarcerating people. If these trends continue, the need for jails like Tower Jail could experience a significant decrease in the following years. With fewer inmates and a greater emphasis on rehabilitation, Maricopa County's correctional system might just undergo complete transformation, shifting away from expansion-driven incarceration in favor of a reintegration-focused model. For now, Towers Jail remains in operation. However, in a system that's changing rapidly, its long-term survival is somewhat uncertain. With that in mind, I'll leave the question in your hands. Should Towers Jail continue as it is, adapt to the changing times, or maybe be replaced with a completely different model of supervision, like locking people up at home with electric monitors? Share your opinions in the comment section below, and of course, if any of you watching this has been to Towers Jail, maybe you were even incarcerated there, let us know what it was like on the inside. I'm curious about your stories. They're always very interesting. Otherwise, until next time, I'm Ryan Sokash, signing off.